Hello and welcome. This is going to be a divine partnership coaching video. And what I want to talk about is how to get your twin, whether you're divine masculine or you're divine feminine, to message you when you're going through periods of no contact or no communication, or you're just waiting on something from them, etc. Now, this is not, how do I put it? It's not hard, but it's also not easy, because if they really are your twin, then you're reflecting each other, and that is always true of twin flames. And so there could be a number of reasons why they are not reaching out to you, and the only way to get through those is to not focus on their reasons and to look at yours. Now, that being said, if you're not sure what your blockages are, then you can look at what they're doing and what you think is the reason why they are not messaging you, and work on those things in your area. Now, the first most important thing is, are you in receptive mode? And I'll do some videos on it from my own perspective, but I started learning about this from Abraham Hicks, and it has been one of the most profound tools ever. So I definitely recommend that you go and look into that. Listen to what she talks about with receptive mode. And the thing about that is a lot of times when, like, say you're waiting for your twin to, you want them to message you, and they're not talking, and you're feeling anxiety, and you're like, I really want to hear from them. And I mean, it could go anywhere from like not having heard from them for a day to not having heard from them for a year, or multiple years, and you really want to hear from them, and you're just, that anxiety, just the want of it is holding it out of place, which is what I mean about it's not hard, but it is a little complicated to find that middle zone in there, because you need to be in receptive mode. And a lot of times when we're waiting for our twin to reach out to us, we're also in this place of like, well, I'm not going to message them. They have to message me. They have to reach out to me. They have to apologize. They have to get their shit together. Why aren't they messaging me? They hurt me. They should know better. They should love me. If they're my twin, they should feel this. And because I want it, they should want it. That's not necessarily true. And if you're thinking thoughts in a low vibration like that, then they are also thinking thoughts like that in a low vibration, and likely thinking the same thing. Even if from your experience you were wronged and that they need to catch up and reach you, if you are in a place where you are feeling like a victim, they are too. And they are likely, even if you're right, that they are the ones that, morally it's appropriate that they reach out to you and make amends, it is very likely that they see it the other way around, that you are the one that hurt them, and you don't necessarily know that you didn't. It's good to look at that, actually, and don't go to a place of like, oh, well, I've done shitty things and I'm gonna reach out and apologize to them a whole bunch. I mean, don't necessarily not do that, but don't go into the blame game at all. Like, when you're in the blame game, when you're in resentment at all, and you're like, well, I'm the one who was hurt, or I did all the hurting, or any of that stuff, you're creating resistance. You're creating blockages. That blocks communication. And likewise, if you are afraid to speak your truth, if you're afraid to tell them you hurt me, if you're afraid to say I love you, if you're afraid to say I miss you, and you could have very good reasons for that, like especially if they're in like a third-party karmic situationship and you don't want to be disrespectful to that, or you know that they're not quite ready to be hearing those feelings. You could have a lot of good reasons for that, but you need to be in a place where you can speak your truth and not be afraid of it. It's like getting up on a stage to perform. There's always going to be a little fear before you do it and stuff like that, but your dominant energy needs to be where you are comfortable with your authenticity, where you can tell them, you know what, I love you and I miss you, and you don't have to reach out or nothing to me, but I just feel that way, and I'm comfortable with telling you that, and you can reject me and do all this stuff. I'm not going to take it personally, because I know that the 3D is a whole different thing than the 5D, and kind of get comfortable with that, like where you're no longer afraid of, oh my gosh, what will they say, or what will the karmics say, or what will happen, and the other thing too is you got to take some of this, so some of this you got to look in a more 5D way, which is the reflection of things, and in other ways you need to look in a more